This is a roast and a toast to the New Year's. This video is in partnership with Neutrogena. Thanks to them, they've supported me beginning of the year to now, and I have to say they upgraded my skin quite a lot this year. This is the last video of mine for 2021, and I am here to roast, but also toast some very successful DIYs and some very unsuccessful DIYs, behind the scenes secrets, and career changes, possibly? Before I get into this roast and toast, I wanted to share how my skin has been changed throughout the year. Neutrogena has been with me from my winter skincare routine in January to now in December, a full 12 months of a Neutrogena program. I took their Skin 360 assessment online, which gave me a full product recommendation unique to my skin needs, and I'll share with you all how my skin has developed over the past 12 months. So starting off strong with this year, I had DIY makeup trays, and the wavy tray that I made with the magnets was concept 10 out of 10. Execution, I guess I thought it was good, and then they all broke. If you work with ceramics, you probably saw this coming from a mile away, and it might be because my air dry clay was old. I'm definitely going to reattempt this DIY because the idea was a hit. During the winter months at home, pretty much all of our home renos came to a halt. It was cold. This was the year that I was working towards growing my DIY skills and expanding into bigger projects. And who better than to learn from DIY Danny herself? Danny and I met back when I was in my apartment. They had a series called Buyer DIY.
It's a dining table! Because it is a dining table, there's no drawers, there's nothing to like hide anything.
And then from there, we became fast friends. Danny and I had a chance to collaborate together. We're planning a collaboration very soon again. And the 3 thrift flips that I did was just very out of the box of what I was used to. And it was one of the first times that I took on power tools of my own. Something that I learned a lot this year is that I have a huge lack of confidence in myself. A lot of what held me back from doing bigger things was just me, and I was just getting in the way of myself. I think of myself as a creative person, but not a great creative person, and I am trying, but I'm also learning that creativity is a muscle that you exercise and you strengthen. I mean, some people are born with wonderful talents, but this is something that I want to practice and grow on my own. Then comes Cricut. It's really improved my crafting game. I've been able to create things that I never thought I'd be able to make, and making the DIY handsy mirror was just the coolest thing. It's also probably one of my top 10 DIYs of the year. Working with a new material, it was a way to also up my home decor game. The fern of wall art one was not the most successful. It wasn't exactly the look I was going for. This year especially, I was getting to know my home style as well and learning things. There was definitely a pattern of like swoopy, and it brings me back to my life drawing days. When you start with proportions of people, you have to start with shapes that might seem very angular at first. I was always a circle gal. Circles all the way. Ba, 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 ba. This one is doing a live. This is also Reed's favorite chair. It was my first sewing project in a long time. Sewing has definitely translated well into doing home DIYs because I haven't thrifted pretty much at all for the past 2 years. Wow, 2 years. I haven't done a lot of fashion thrift flips, but in terms of skills translating, this has definitely paid off. While this one is here, one of my most used DIYs, actually probably the most used DIY that is used every single day for many hours of the day, is the snuggle bed that I made for Reedy. And then the complete opposite of the least used DIY is her snood. I never put it on her. So this, I would say, is my worst DIY of the year, I was embarrassed of myself and quickly had them replaced. I did a collab with Tina, who, again, I really look up to her, and her DIY home game is incredible. We did a collab of DIYs from trash to treasure, but I was really off the mark with this DIY coffee can. Not my best moment. This was kind of the lead up into a harder period of this year. With 2020 being a tough year for a lot of people, I kind of felt like both Steph and I were extremely fortunate in that we came out of it not only unscathed, but we bought our first home. It was really a good year for us, and none of us lost our jobs. But I was definitely hitting a wall. Since the world was still under lockdown and we had benefits, we decided to try couples therapy. And I found the greatest therapist. It was an incredible experience for the both of us, but it was hard. There was work involved. There's a lot of confronting yourself that is uncomfortable. It kind of felt like these sessions were individual therapy for us that benefited the relationship overall. And I learned a lot about myself that I feel like I've always had a good sense of self. I always know who I am and what I want in life. I just never realized how much of my life was governed by anxiety. I just have in my head, I know I'm a catastrophizer, but it's just, I have constant spiraling thoughts in my head and constant questioning of myself in my head. It's kind of a double-edged thing because I never feel like I'm doing enough or good enough, which helps me in getting things done. But then in the sense that I'm never happy with anything that I do. I had taken a few days off to paint. And that video, I painted Steph's car, but taking those few days off, having hit my wall, was the start of therapy, evaluating what I want to do with myself and my life, and asking some hard questions about my channel and what I want to do. Being an oversharer, this combines into the wonderful project that I had of Girl Wah as the podcast. I love sharing every aspect of my life. I think that's part of my coping mechanism. DIY has been with me from beginning to now, and I'm just honing my DIY skills. But the Girl Wah podcast was a wonderful passion project. It was something to share and relate to a lot of you. In general, not having a strong category and a strong brand for myself was holding me back negatively. So I've decided to fold Girl Wah. It doesn't mean that I'll stop oversharing my life and intimate details. It just means that I won't be pursuing that as an endeavor. So change is good. We like change. A lot of internal struggle with not allowing myself to take a break and also feeling like I needed to take a break. And it definitely showed up in my skin, let alone the fact that winter is really bad on my skin already. So I wanted to give a shout out to Neutrogena. I took their Skin 360 assessment tool, and their online assessment gives you product recommendations based on your unique skincare needs, but also pinpoints areas that you can improve on. So I worked off a new routine. In my personal life, I was unlearning and then also learning a lot of things. But with all of these changes happening, I could see that my content was shifting. And that brings me to my fluted table. This conference table was a fun adventure. It got me familiar with the lumber yard, and the lumber store is just somewhere that's super intimidating. Places like hardware stores that are pretty male dominated. So this DIY was the start of the lumber shortage, so I was only able to half finish the table. I'm thinking what I'm going to do, because the tabletop is 10 feet long, I think I might get a new tabletop for it and turn it into a desk for myself. Then we were starting on the deck. So while we were working on the backyard, I was doing other content, and I could tell immediate effects Working and building on such a big project gave me a lot of confidence in making content and taking risks that I never did before. The DIY dumpling bag that I made was a really big technical challenge, but I didn't feel the fear that I usually do feel when I'm tackling these projects. A lot of this channel is learning as I'm doing, but there's still an immense amount of pressure to deliver a great final product. Working on the deck had a direct effect on how I tackle future projects. This closet being one of them. The reeded part of this IKEA hack was an inspiration from somebody I followed on Instagram, but then having to cut the dresser, add legs, and add drawer handles, those are all things that I had never even fathomed of doing. I was a very protected child, never broke a bone in my body, was taught not to take risks and to be very careful. This was one of the projects that sealed the deal for me. I talked about going back to school and expanding my learning beyond this career, and I was certain that I was going to choose one path at one point, but now I'm thinking maybe I want to go take some courses on woodworking and get some more basic skills down so that I can do more furniture upcycles, because it combines my love for antiquing and DIY all in one. Things were picking up at this point. I had a more sure footing of where I stood in life, and then work was also picking up. My freelance contract came back. It was on hold for a year, so it is tough to balance both, but I do really enjoy my freelance work, and I like to not have all my eggs in one basket. With the last video before the holidays, I totally tore into our home renos. So this is my disaster of a house, and I think I was in a headspace where I thought I wasn't good enough. Having all this unfinished work around the house was kind of a sign of failure, but you all in the comments, y'all kept me in check. I took a lot for granted about how far we really came, and I never forget that we have our first home and we own a home in the first place. This is something that I never imagined for myself. I guess I felt like I wasn't making the best out of it by not finishing all these projects. This year still doesn't feel like I did enough. I kind of feel like I'll always feel that way, even though I'm actively trying not to. But from October till now, it has been complete madness for me. And I am so looking forward to, I'm gonna take a holiday break. I'm actually going to work very hard to not pick up my phone. There's always something to do, and I'm not gonna do it. Oh, before I leave for the rest of the year, there is a giveaway happening. Neutrogena and I are offering you your entire Skin 360 routine if you take the assessment online. You can find out all the details on my Instagram. So I have you to thank for a holiday break. A reminder to you as well that taking time off, I need to hear this as well. Taking time off is just as productive as doing something. I just found out that, I can say it. Yeah, I can say it. Cause Dad, if you're watching, Joss is coming for the holidays. Oh no, Joss is coming for the holidays. My sister's gonna be here. It's gonna be family packed all holidays, which is all I could ever ask for. And this year has been really good to me. So I will see you in 2022.